Chapter 21. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Before the words fell, Hao Sei's group of suit thugs moved upon hearing the sound. One of them first grinned and clenched his fists, his muscles bulging all over his body, and he could hardly hold up his suit. He pushed the manager who was blocking the way away, and the manager stumbled and fell to the ground unexpectedly. Seeing this, Lu Meng hurried forward to support the manager. Obviously, with the experience of the little girl, she had never seen such a domineering and arrogant person in public, and a trace of panic suddenly appeared on her face. Little girl. Don't be ungrateful, listen to others' advice and eat a full meal. How can you hit someone in public? Don't be afraid, manager. I'll report to the supervision department right away. After saying that, he was about to pick up the phone. Seeing this, the group of suit thugs laughed at first, and then their eyes turned cold. One of them kicked Lu Meng's phone to pieces and kicked it dozens of meters away. Lu Meng curled up in pain, her pretty face pale and sweaty. The commotion here had already attracted the attention of many people. They gathered around and saw 4 or 5 muscular men bullying a little girl. They all whispered and criticized, but no one dared to step forward. Some were afraid of the 5 burly men and felt they were no match for them. Some were afraid of Hao Sei's notoriety and were afraid of getting into trouble. Some were afraid of Hao Sei's family power and were afraid of revenge afterwards. There were also people who were not aware of the situation and were filled with righteous indignation. What are you doing? Is there any law? Beating people in public. But when the people who knew the situation whispered, their faces changed and they slowly retreated behind the crowd. Lu Meng, who fell to the ground, looked at the evasive eyes of the onlookers and suddenly felt desperate. House wiped his palms carefully with a handkerchief, and came to Lu Meng condescendingly, sneering. "Tsk. Look, you beat this little girl so hard that she can't even stand up. I'm not saying you guys are really ruthless. Little girl, do you need me to report to the supervisory office for you? Forget it, seeing that you are so seriously injured, someone send this young lady to the hospital." The 5 burly men bowed their heads and repeatedly admitted their mistakes, then smiled at each other, and were about to pick up Lu Meng and drag her away with bad intentions. Lu Meng struggled with fear. No. Help. The people around couldn't help but turn their heads away, as if they foresaw the girl's next tragic experience. Just then, a pleasant mechanical sound suddenly came from the hall broadcast. Congratulations to the number 28 appraiser Wu Ying. The Black Iron Realm combat power has reached the broken army level. Congratulations to the number 28 appraiser Wu Ying. The Black Iron Realm combat power has reached the broken army level. Congratulations to the number 28 appraiser Wu Ying. The Black Iron Realm combat power has reached the broken army level. Congratulations to the number 28 appraiser Wu Ying. The Black Iron Realm combat power has reached the broken army level. 3 consecutive broadcast prompts sounded. What? Qingcheng's number 1 prodigy by Qingshu's Black Iron Realm combat power assessment has actually reached the broken army level. After so many years, Qingcheng has finally produced another broken army level combat power. Invincible talent. Invincible talent. Invincible in the same realm. Wu Ying is the virtual name used by Bai Qingshu for combat power assessment, but her name is known to everyone in Qingcheng. A broken army, 1 against 100. One person broke the army. In today's world, the combat power system is complex and diverse, with a variety of fruit abilities, a vast sea of martial arts and physical skills, and mysterious 3-color domineering. Even the physique of the same realm will vary greatly due to different potentials. It is impossible to accurately judge the strength of a person. Only actual combat can truly show one's own strength. In order to avoid unnecessary casualties, using the Phantom God Tower for combat power assessment has become the best option recognized by countries around the world. The common people have limited talents and opportunities. Throughout his life, his strength in each realm is only hovering between the primary, intermediate and advanced stages. Only the true genius is qualified to break through the shackles and open the hidden combat power identification. One person against 100 in the same realm. Considered as the broken army level. One person against 200 monsters in the same realm, destroying the city. Considered as the city destroying level. One person against 300 monsters in the same realm. Unparalleled in the world is considered as the unparalleled level. One person against 500 monsters in the same realm, with overwhelming combat power, invincible in the world, can be called the supreme realm. Of course, it is said that there is another realm above the supreme called the unknown realm, reading the past and present. The human strongmen who will achieve great fame and prestige in the future will start with the broken army level in the same realm, and the city destroying level and above are even rarer. It can be called the peerless genius. Once the city destroying level combat power grows up, it will leave a strong mark in human history. Become the top combat force of mankind against invasion. Most of the top lieutenant generals and even general candidates in the Han Alliance army are city-destroying combat forces. They are invincible in the same realm, and if the unparalleled or even supreme realms do not fall, they must be the overlords of the world. Such as the 3 generals of the army today. And the 7 kings of the Han dynasty. As for the unknowable realm, it means mysterious and unpredictable, and its strength is difficult to guess. It has appeared very few times in history, but every time it appears, it means the emergence of the master of an era. Every existence of the unknowable realm is a monster that cannot be defeated by human power or numbers. They control an era. They lead an era. They dominate an era. Repel the fog. Xianyuan Huangdi who remade the world. Build the great wall of mist. Fight against demons. Qin Shi Huang who unified the 6 kingdoms. The top unknowables never meet each other. If it were not for the brilliant world. It is rare for 2 unknowable realms to appear at the same time in an era. The only exception in history is the founding emperor of the Han Alliance today. Emperor Gaozu of Han Lu Bang and the overlord of Western Chu. The Chu-Han contention was the only confrontation between the highest-level combat power of mankind in the 800 years since the invasion of the fog, which was between the unknowable saints. Lu Bang, the first emperor of the Han dynasty, and Han Xian, the military fairy of the saintly realm, joined forces to defeat the overlord Xiang Yu with one move. Since then, the fate of an era has been established. The continuous Han Alliance has a history of 300 years. That era was almost the peak of human combat power. Saints emerged in an endless stream. There was even an unknowable existence like the Emperor Gaozu and the Overlord. The fog retreated. The evil bowed. Humans were almost about to dominate the world again. Unfortunately, the Chu-Han contention almost wiped out the luck of the world. 300 years have passed since then. The high-level combat power of mankind is still sluggish and there is a lack of successors. The whole world has never produced a saint again. At this time, Bai Qingshu tore off the virtual glasses, her plump chest rising and falling slightly, and the sweat on her forehead showed that her heart was not calm, facing the siege of hundreds of monsters in the Phantom God Tower, even though Bai Qingshu used all his means, even opening the elemental transformation throughout the whole process. He was almost exhausted to death under the siege of the monsters. In the end, relying on flexible positioning, he fought desperately at the last moment, and at the cost of an arm, he was lucky enough to smash the heart of the last monster with a seriously injured body. Too terrible. Is this the combat power assessment of the broken army level? It is really hard to imagine how terrifying the city-destroying and supreme realms above the broken army are. Bai Qingshu patted his chest with lingering fear, and at the same time, he was more determined to climb the peak of martial arts. Well, set a small goal first. Reach the broken army level in the bronze realm. Chapter 22. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Congratulations, Miss. Congratulations, Miss. You have become the first genius to reach the level of Pejuan since the establishment of Qingqing. That the old man behind Bai Qingshu looked at the girl in front of him with excitement. Uncle Qiao, that's not true. There is no end to martial arts. You must know that there is always someone better than you. Ignoring the flattery of the crowd, Bai Qingshu said lightly. Miss is right, but I'm afraid Miss has no rivals in Qincheng. Bai Qingshu smiled lightly. The reputation of the natural fruit ability user is enough to make her stand out in Qincheng. Even if it is Duan Tianya, the strongest army branch director in Qincheng, Bai Qingshu can confidently deal with him. At this time, Master Hauser also hurried over to congratulate Bai Qingshu. Qingshu. You are so amazing. Who in Qincheng can beat you now? It's ridiculous that an unknown person named Jiang Chen is praised as a god on the internet. Some people even compare him with you. What a big joke. Seeing Hao Sei coming, Bai Qingshu turned her head with a look of disgust. She had heard of Jiang Chen. Although he obtained the weakest fruit, the fish fruit, he was a rare fantasy beast azure dragon. She had also seen the edited azure dragon video. In terms of attack power, destructive power and expressiveness, even she couldn't compare with him. However, the elemental transformation is naturally invincible. I think it's useless if Jiang Chen can't hit me. I was thinking about it and happened to see Hao Sei's men pulling a girl. At a glance, I knew it was Hao Sei, the young master of a big family, who was doing it. Stop it. Bai Qingshu stopped the 5 thugs in suits. When the 5 saw that it was Bai Qingshu who spoke, they stopped and looked at their own young master. Bai Qingshu looked at Hao Sei with disgust. Master Hao. Bullying a little girl in public is not good for Uncle Hao's reputation. House was also a little embarrassed at this time, and quickly asked his men to release Lu Meng, and then argued seriously. Qingshu, you misunderstood me. I saw that the girl seemed to have a sudden illness and fell to the ground, so I kindly sent someone to send her to the hospital. If you don't believe it, ask everyone present. Then Hao Sei turned around and glanced at everyone present with a fierce look in his eyes. The threat was self-evident. Everyone dared not say a word. Bai Qingshu, who knew Hao Sei's virtue, rolled his eyes, ignored Hao Sei, stood up and walked to Lu Meng, looked at the girl's injuries in front of him, took out the healing pill and fed her. Thank you, Miss Bai. Lu Meng, whose complexion had obviously improved, struggled to thank Bai Qingshu, but Bai Qingshu quickly stopped her and helped Lu Meng to rest on a chair. House felt ashamed when he saw Bai Qingshu ignoring him. He was so angry that he saw Jiang Chen still lying on the chair, looking carefree. It's all this bastard's fault. If it weren't for him, how could I have sent someone to beat up that girl? If that girl wasn't beaten, how could Qingshu look down on me? And that stinky woman. Why don't you just get out of here? You only earn 2 or 3,000 baileys a month. What are you playing with? You have to protect this man. Thinking of this, Hao Sei pointed at Jiang Chen and said loudly, what's wrong with this person? He has been playing in the Phantom God Tower since he came in. Miss Qingshu's appraisal of the broken army level has come out, but he hasn't come out yet. You can tell at a glance that he is playing hide and seek in the Phantom God Tower. It's a waste of public resources. Scum. I, Hao Sei, will never allow such a thing to happen. After saying that, he ordered a subordinate to unplug Jiang Chen's network cable. Master Hao is right. This person is occupying the toilet without taking a shit. A man came to Jiang Chen aggressively, pretending to slap the glasses off Jiang Chen's face. Without the obstruction of Lu Meng, who was seen as a fool by everyone, the man came to Jiang Chen smoothly. At this time, Jiang Chen in the Phantom God Tower has also reached a critical period. Jiang Chen, covered in blood, has already opened the strongest form of the Phantom Beast Azure Dragon, the Half-Beast Dragon Man mode. He is 8 meters tall, holding a virtualized steel mace, and his whole body is covered with azure hard dragon scales. A flash of abyss-like blood red flashed in the depths of the golden dragon pupil, which was the red light produced by excessive use of the observation haki. The whole body is windless and automatic, and an invisible breath of extreme yang and strength lingers in it. The color is thin but extremely thick and massive armament haki entangled and spreads on the mace. Jiang Chen was panting heavily. At this time, he was already at the end of his strength and exhausted. Both his physical strength, energy, and blood volume will reach the bottom. What's going on? I haven't heard that the Phantom God Tower has an infinite mode. Since Jiang Chen defeated 500 monsters, the entire illusion has inexplicably not been updated, but monsters have begun to emerge from all directions. If it weren't for his superdimensional divine body that was forcibly maintaining his peak combat power, he would have been torn into pieces by thousands of monsters. That's right. Even he himself didn't know that the trial Jiang Chen was starting now was the extremely rare battle. Power appraisal of the unknown realm. Who? Damn. I want to report that there is a bug in the illusion God Tower. Maybe Jiang Chen was really exhausted, and the illusion stopped the monsters that continue to emerge. Looking at the last 4 or 5 remaining beasts running towards him, Jiang Chen took a deep breath and forced his pounding heart to hold back. Raise the last bit of will. The last blow. Life and death are up to fate. Transformed into the form of a blue dragon and flew into the air again. Jiang Chen was no longer able to control the external thunder and natural disasters. He squeezed the last bit of power in the fruit. The scales all over his body burst into flames from the gaps and quickly burned to the whole body of the dragon. He suddenly transformed into a giant dragon of fire. Enduring the burning of the flames. Urging the last bit of domineering to cover the hardest dragon horns. Fire Dragon Torch. The strongest blow that perfectly combines the fruit and the domineering spirit. Jiang Chen roared with a ferocious look and rushed towards the monster on the ground. The red flames cut through the sky and hit the monster like a meteor. Boom! Jiang Chen opened his eyes and couldn't suppress the ferocious killing intent. The thug in suits who looked directly at Jiang Chen felt like he was falling into an endless hell. You are staring into the abyss, and the abyss is also staring at you. The thug in suits suddenly softened his legs and knelt straight in front of Jiang Chen with a puff, his mind blank. Others could not feel it, they only felt a chill, but the old man next to Bai Qingshu was sweating and protecting Bai Qingshu like his hair was standing up. At that moment, the old man called Xiao Bo Bai Qingshu clearly felt the monstrous killing intent emanating from Jiang Chen because of his realm. The killing intent contained a terrifying power that even he could never resist. Enough to kill everyone present. The old man subconsciously protected Bai Qingshu, just to buy time for Bai Qingshu to escape. Bai Qingshu looked at Xiao Bo with a puzzled look. Miss, be careful. That man is not right. Jiang Chen stood up and looked at the man kneeling on the ground and secretly said sorry. The moment he opened his eyes, he really couldn't distinguish between reality and virtuality. Hao Sei didn't know this. He was furious when he saw his subordinates fall to the ground inexplicably. What's going on? Get up. You can't even do such a small thing as driving away a piece of trash. Damn it. Teach this kid a lesson. Jiang Chen's face sank. Things seemed to be a little different from what he thought. Chapter 23. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Although the remaining 4 men who received the order were puzzled by their companion's fall, it did not affect their punching Jiang Chen at all. Boy, the mistake is that you have provoked my eldest son. Maybe you don't know it at all, or even feel puzzled, but this is the reality. Just like some people are born a mistake. Jiang Chen tilted his head and looked at the 4 ants in front of him pretending to be cool in front of him. He was really a little confused now. Be careful. The injured Lu Meng struggled to shout to Jiang Chen. Before the voice fell, a loud mechanical prompt sound suddenly rang in the entire combat power appraisal center. Congratulations to the number 29 appraiser, Kaido, the Black Iron Realm. The combat power has reached the unknowable realm. Congratulations to the number 29 appraiser, Kaido, the Black Iron Realm. The combat power has reached the unknowable realm. Congratulations to the number 29 appraiser, Kaido, the Black Iron Realm. The combat power has reached the unknowable realm. Congratulations to the number 29 appraiser, Kaido, the Black Iron Realm. The combat power has reached the unknowable realm. The same 3 broadcasts, but the performance of the crowd was completely different from the broadcasts heard by Qingshu before. The whole hall was silent, and you could hear a pin drop. Everyone's expression was dull at first, and then their eyes widened. The open mouths seemed to be shouting silently. No. Unknowable. That's not a legend. Shut up, don't talk, we are witnessing a myth. Qingshu was extremely shocked at this time. The man who was tested side by side with him was actually an unknowable existence. It was ridiculous that he was still complacent about his military-level combat power. Looking carefully at Jiang Chen's face, the more he looked, the more familiar it became. You are Qinglong Jiang Chen. Everyone was in an uproar. What? He is one of the strongest geniuses in Qinqing who is on par with Qingshu. Jiang Chen, known as the Azure Dragon. The title of the weakest counterattack fruit. He is the one who bears the most recognized animal fruit today. The fish fruit fantasy beast Azure Dragon. Jiang Chen ignored the surprise of the crowd, passing by the four thugs in suits who were still in a punching position after being frightened by the broadcast, and also passed by Xiao Bo who was in a fighting position but shivering all over. He came to Lu Meng, the girl who had been arguing with him before, but was the only one who warned him when the thugs in suits attacked him, and looked at Qingshu who was taking care of Lu Meng and nodded. Even when Jiang Chen first saw Qingshu, he couldn't help but be stunned, and sighed in his heart, what a beautiful lady with fairy-like appearance. From a high-dimensional perspective, it was easy to find that the girl's fragile body had suffered a lot of internal injuries. The intuition of seeing and hearing color told Jiang Chen that something bad happened during his test, and maybe this girl would tell him the answer. What happened? Your injury should also be caused by those guys in suits, right? That she asked softly, but with a hint of doubt. The girl looked at the boy who was bickering with her an hour ago, and suddenly became an unattainable genius. She nodded with difficulty when she heard Jiang Chen's question. The people who came back to their senses started to discuss it. The enthusiastic people recounted the whole story again. Jiang Chen's face was gloomy. He didn't expect that he would encounter so many things just to test his combat power. At the same time, he looked at the girl Lu Meng with guilt. She suffered an unprovoked disaster for protecting herself. I'm sorry, I made you suffer. I will give you an explanation. Lu Meng didn't expect that a genius like Jiang Chen would apologize to her. Shouldn't they be high above and look down on everyone? At the same time, Jiang Chen looked at Qingshu who was taking care of Lu Meng with a sincere look. Can you take her to the hospital first? I'll take care of something and come later. This is my bank card. The password is 66s. I'll pay for the medical expenses, and the rest is your hard work fee. Then he forced a bank card into Qingshu's hand. Qingshu was stunned. Didn't he know her? Then she laughed at herself and looked at the card in her hand. From childhood to adulthood, no man had dared to treat her like this. Facing Jiang Chen's request, she nodded inexplicably. House also felt that something was wrong at this time. He didn't know if his father could stand up to provoking this extraordinary genius, so he wanted to save the situation. The flood really washed away the Dragon King Temple. So you are the famous Qinglong Jiang Chen in Qinqing. My younger brothers were ignorant and almost bumped into you. I am really sorry. My father is Hao Gang, the head of the Qinqing Supervisory Department. Brother Jiang, let's be friends. House extended his hand with an apologetic look and lowered his posture. A real man can bend and stretch. Although House is arrogant, he also knows that there are always people better than you. He is not a fool. It is unwise to provoke a strong enemy for his family for no reason, but in the past, as long as you lower your posture and give enough face, and emphasize your background, you can turn hostility into friendship. Ling's method, but at this time, he still couldn't get a response from Jiang Chen. Looking at Jiang Chen's playful smile, House didn't know whether to put his hand down or not, and the smile he barely maintained was about to break. This guy. He deliberately didn't give me face. He really thought that he could walk sideways in Qinqing just because he was a genius. No, I must endure it. Everything will be discussed later. Haha, it seems that brother Jiang is still a little angry, so you can deal with my 4 men. Kill or cut them, it's up to you. I'll set up a meal another day and apologize to brother Jiang. At this time, Bai Qingshu also wanted to see what this legendary man would do, whether he was worldly wise and laughed off the grudges, or was full of passion and drew his sword at a disagreement. You are very good at making connections, kid. It's a pity that it's useless for you to recognize me. Did you see the little girl lying on the chair? Go. Kneel down and apologize. What? Let me kneel down and apologize to a lowly person, Jiang Chen, you are going too far. Before Hao Se opened his mouth to fight back, Jiang Chen kicked him on the knee, and he fell to the ground with an unstable force. Young master, seeing his young master fall to the ground, this is a serious failure to protect him. Others don't know that the few people who are their young master's lackeys don't know that with Hao Se's twisted mentality, they will definitely punish them afterwards, and their lives may not be saved. Suddenly, the fear of death overwhelmed the fear of Jiang Chen and they all stepped forward to stop him. Since killing all 4 sides in the Phantom Tower, the repressed nature seems to have been released, what hiding the weakness, what worrying about being too strong to attract attention, nothing to say. Looking at the 4 people who attacked, the extremely masculine and strong black aura suddenly brewed around him, and the armed color domineering aura like a dimensionality reduction attack was used by Jiang Chen in reality for the first time. No need to come all the way here. Jiang Chen was the first to arrive, and he tore off the iron bracket on the wall, and a graceful and brutal arc passed through the 4 people. Thunderous Bagua. Instantly, the 4 people were hit hard. They fell to the ground with white eyes and unconscious. Pouted, damn it, when will that guy give me the mace he owes me, he is not going to regret it. It's your turn. The Kid Who Made Connections. Chapter 24. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Don't come over here. My dad is Hao Gang, my dad is Hao Gang. Looking at Jiang Chen walking towards him, Hao Se swung his fist in panic. Jiang Chen dodged sideways, grabbed Hao Se's head with his backhand and dragged him to Lu Meng's side. Hao Se slapped Jiang Chen's arms with both hands, but it was useless. In front of Jiang Chen, Hao Se was like a baby with no power to resist. Jiang Chen pressed his head and slammed it against Lu Meng. Hao Se's head was immediately broken and bleeding. You dare to hit me? My father will not let you go. Hao Se looked at the blood dripping from his head in disbelief. He was humiliated in public. He let out a hysterical roar while being pulled up. Jiang Chen ignored Hao Se's barking and looked indifferent. He smashed Hao Se's head down regularly again and again. Pull it up again. Smash it down again. Pull it up again. Swung it around like an animal. Blood splattered all over the floor. The only way to deal with violence is to fight violence with violence. The sound of banging echoed in the hall. Mixed with Hauser's constant curses, everyone was so scared that they dared not speak. It was brutal, too brutal. At this time, the security personnel of the Combat Power Appraisal Center also came late with batons and shields. Their hats were buttoned crookedly, and their uniforms were not buttoned properly. They were quite old, and it was unknown who was protecting whom. What's going on? I heard that a serious violent incident occurred here. Don't worry, we will definitely protect everyone's life and property, a middle-aged man in the lead shouted with full energy, but just looking at the strangeness of the people around him, his old face couldn't help but blush. They had witnessed everything in the surveillance, but they were afraid of Hauser's reputation, so none of them dared to leave the security room. At this time, seeing a reckless boy with a passion and no idea what to do, he felt that he was good enough. Help, security guard. Help me, my dad is Hao Gang. Hao seemed to have grabbed a life-saving straw, and shouted even more vigorously. Hey, young man, stop it. You are breaking the law, do you know that? Uncle security guard, you are really deaf in the broadcast just now, you didn't hear a word, right? The young man you mentioned has reached the highest level of combat power detection, and pinching you is like pinching an ant. Hearing the words of the enthusiastic crowd, the leading security guard was stunned, looking at Jiang Chen's cold eyes with murderous intent. He wanted to slap himself in the face, and calmly picked up the walkie-talkie in his hand. Yes, Lao Lu, it's me, the crisis is over, there is no violence, what are you talking about? It's all lies. The security guard who didn't show up when Housei bullied Lu Meng showed up at this time and saw Jiang Chen's cold eyes, swallowed his saliva, ignored Housei's curse, and chose to turn a blind eye again. A few baileys a month, what's my life? Then he led a bunch of old, weak and sick people under his command to leave the hall in unison. As soon as the security guard left, Housei felt desperate again, and Jiang Chen pressed his head harder. As time went by, Housei's shouting became smaller and smaller, and finally turned into begging for mercy. Housei felt that Jiang Chen was a lunatic. He was really scared at this moment, and his intuition told him that Jiang Chen might really beat him to death. I'm sorry. I apologize, compensate, Qingshu, uncle. At this time, Housei was beaten up in a trance, and he couldn't speak clearly. His nose was broken, his teeth were broken, his eyes were swollen, and his face was unrecognizable. Where was the previous invincible momentum? Looking at Bai Qingshu, who was on the side and stretched out his hand for help. Bai Qingshu also showed a trace of pity. After all, the two families knew each other since childhood. Although she hated this guy who bullied men and women and did all kinds of evil, she couldn't be indifferent if he really died in front of her. He wanted to step forward to stop her, but he felt that he didn't have that much face, so he helped Lu Meng up and looked at her with worry. Lu Meng couldn't stand the bloody scene in front of her, and turned her head away, not daring to look at Housei's miserable appearance. Enough, that brother Jiang, he has admitted his mistake. Stop beating. If you continue beating, someone will die. You're right, it's more important to send you to the hospital. Looking at Lu Meng, his facial expression changed from cold to gentle again. During the chat with Lu Meng, after knowing the girl's name, Jiang Chen left his mobile phone number to Lu Meng. Lu Meng, remember to call me if anything happens in the future. Then he watched Lu Meng being sent to the hospital by Xiao Bo, who was crying behind Bai Qingshu. After Jiang Chen put Housei down, he took out his treasured handkerchief from his pocket, wiped the blood on his hands, and continued to use the used handkerchief to carefully wipe the blood on Housei's face with gentle movements and gentle tone. How boy, I'm protecting that girl. If she gets into any trouble in the future, be careful or I'll kill your whole family. He swallowed his saliva and nodded. He looked dull on the surface, but he was already furious in his heart. Ha, Jiang Chen, you are nothing special. Letting me go must be the stupidest decision you have ever made. Jiang Chen ignored him and said hello to Bai Qingshu and was about to leave. At this moment, something strange happened. Housei was indeed a descendant of a big family. He was patient enough. While Jiang Chen turned around to talk, he took out a pistol and pulled the trigger frantically. Ha! Go to hell. Jiang Chen. His ferocious expression could be vaguely seen on his scarred face. Be careful. Bai Qingshu was stunned and shouted to Jiang Chen anxiously. Jiang Chen ignored him and turned his head to avoid the stray bullets that were coming at him at a critical moment. Then he turned and walked towards Housei. The hall was in chaos, glass was broken, bullets were flying. Some people even cried out in pain after being shot. At this time, Housei was still outputting crazily. But none of them could hit Jiang Chen. A bullet hit Bai Qingshu right between her eyebrows and passed through her head, but only brought out a wisp of white mist. Asshole! Is this guy crazy? I finally calmed down the monster's anger. Doesn't he want to die? Bai Qingshu looked anxious, ignoring the bullet that Housei shot at her in a frenzy. She was only worried about whether Housei would die here today. If he really died here, Qingchen would really be turned upside down. Of course Housei would not be so reckless, but he was too confident in his ability. Jiang Chen walked step by step to the crazy Housei, looking down at him as if he was looking at a fool. I thought you were just bad, but I didn't expect you to be so stupid. You kept shooting even though you knew you couldn't hit. Hauser looked crazy. Really? Jiang Chen, you are too conceited. I forgot to tell you. This gun is an armor-piercing bullet. It is specially designed for martial arts masters with super strong defense. And I am a superhuman target fruit ability user. Anyone who is touched by me will be marked, Jiang Chen. Even if you hide to the ends of the earth, you will be hit. Ha 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 ha. Wait for death. Jiang Chen was shocked. The body was the first to turn into a dragon man. The body increased by 8 meters in height. The terrifying muscles bulged, and the surface of the skin was covered with a layer of fine blue dragon scales as hard as iron. The golden dragon pupils were burning. The surging and terrifying armed color domineering lingered around the body. The full strategy of the superdimensional body was activated. The swollen muscles tightened again. Maximum power, iron block. Can't hide? Then don't hide. Chapter 25. You are listening at novelfull.audio. At this time, Jiang Chen has already activated the maximum defense power. Although the use of armament haki is crude and only elementary, it can only be sensed and used initially. However, with the talent of the superdimensional divine body, Jiang Chen's divine attribute conversion haki has reached 100%. You must know that after anyone awakens haki, the subsequent practice must work hard on strength skills and quantity. To improve strength skills from elementary to intermediate and then continue to improve, you need to move forward in a series of life and death trials. It is just armament haki. The elementary level is to be able to sense the existence of haki and then use it initially. The intermediate level is to be able to harden the armament haki and even harden the whole body armament haki. The advanced level is to be able to release the armament haki like a sword slash to hurt people in the air. Legend has it that there is another level above the advanced level. Skills are close to Tao. It can highly condense high-intensity armament haki in a local area. Concentrate the haki that is not used in the whole body at one point. Achieving the extreme hardening of local armament haki makes the haki like a flowing liquid, and the attack and defense power are almost extreme. Because it can flow like liquid, it is also called Ryu Sakura. But Jiang Chen does not believe that Ryu Sakura is the end of armament haki. In One Piece comics, there has been a stronger use of armament haki than Ryu Sakura, internal destruction. And the amount of haki also needs to be constantly converted into haki resources step by step. Ordinary people may spend their entire lives just developing the total amount of haki, but Jiang Chen has reached the end since birth. Quantitative change is enough to cause qualitative change. Although Jiang Chen cannot harden the armament haki, the huge amount of haki is enough to protect it from leaks. As Hao Sei's arrogant voice fell, the bullets that Jiang Chen dodged really bombarded Jiang Chen's body like a young swallow returning to the nest. Ha! Die, die, all of you die. Hao Sei, who was completely crazy, shouted wildly. His dignity and pride were shattered by Jiang Chen today, and he must be washed with blood. All those who saw his humble scene. Everyone present must die. Including Bai Qingshu. The sound of metal clashing constantly came from Jiang Chen, and a circle of bullet shells that had been shriveled by the extreme collision had fallen to the ground. Hiss, is this an armor-piercing bullet? It really hurts, but that's all. Seeing Jiang Chen unscathed, except for a few broken scales falling like old skin, Hao Sei was really scared. He collapsed to the ground with trembling legs. Impossible. You are a monster. Monster. You are not a human, right? You must be a fog monster in disguise. Hao Sei seemed to have found a reasonable explanation for his failure. You said you are a person who is really cowardly when you are cowardly, and you are really brave when you are brave. The shadow cast by Jiang Chen's body alone completely enveloped Hao Sei. He ignored his barking. Just take it as your last words. Go to hell. After saying that, Jiang Chen was about to stomp Hao Sei to pieces. Looking up at the approaching foot, Hao Sei's fear was infinitely magnified. But the corners of his mouth were still slightly raised. Jiang Chen. No matter how powerful you are, what can you do? You can't kill me. Between life and death, a strong white smoke swept to Jiang Chen's feet. The strong white impact formed a corner with the foot. Jiang Chen. You really can't kill him. At least not here. Not in public. Not in the city. Otherwise, the situation will really be out of control. Even if you don't think about yourself, you have to think about Lu Meng. No ordinary people can bear the anger of the Hao family. Bai Qingshu's arms kept spewing white smoke, her pretty face flushed, and her tight white legs half knelt on the ground, gritting her teeth and struggling to support. The murderer will be killed. If Lu Meng really died because of this, I will naturally avenge her and kill all enemies. In Jiang Chen's opinion, even if Lu Meng did not participate, once the combat power appraisal was over, Jiang Chen, who knew the whole story, would not let Hao Se go. Jiang Chen's half-beast face was dark and ferocious. Bai Qingshu looked at the monster in front of him in disbelief, his heart was so cold. Cruel. Inflated? Of course Jiang Chen inflated. Since he identified the combat power of the unknown realm, Jiang Chen certainly has the right to inflate. The highest level of combat power in the small Qinglong is only silver. I have never heard of his domineering power. Bai Qingshu's black iron-breaking military-level combat power dared to face the silver with his elementalization. Jiang Chen killed 1,000 monsters of the same realm after all, although he had the domineering blessing. Although there is no elementalization bug, even if he can't beat it, he can still fly, and he can always run away. How strong is he now? A single man is an army. I'm not kidding, although there are thousands of monsters in the Phantom Tower, 90% of them are low-level monsters with no talent or skills, whiteboard monster. It's just that the physique has reached the black iron realm, the remaining 9% can be regarded as monsters with strong physique, and the last 1% are difficult monsters with some innate skills. If mortals are classified as the same level, it is equivalent to Jiang Chen, as a boxing champion Tyson, challenging 900 babies. 90 young children, and the last one is a primary school student. This is not something that ordinary people can do. Qinglong is going anywhere. Jiang Chen suddenly exerted force and shattered Bai Qingshu into countless white mists with one kick. The white mist took advantage of the situation to roll up Hao Se and dragged him to the side. The white mist spun and reformed into the appearance of Bai Qingshu. Natural smoke fruit ability user. You are Qinglong's #1 prodigy Bai Qingshu. Jiang Chen laughed dumbly. He had heard of Bai Qingshu's name a long time ago. He thought he would meet him at the school trial, but he didn't expect to meet him here. Qinglong Jiang Chen. You are indeed worthy of the name of a monster. I really feel ashamed to be on the same level with you. Humph, in the eyes of ants, humans and elephants are existences that they cannot contend with. This is nothing. Bai Qingshu, you must have seen the gap between you and me. For Lu Meng's sake, I have shown mercy. Don't make a mistake. Jiang Chen spoke coldly, and his deep voice made the eardrums of everyone present hurt. He exuded a terrifying aura like a prehistoric beast all over his body. Bai Qingshu swallowed his saliva. Only when he really faced Jiang Chen could he experience his power. The pressure like the abyss and prison made it difficult to breathe. He had the strongest animal-type devil fruit in the world. A terrifying physique that was almost invincible in the same realm. A master of physical skills who mastered all 6 styles. He controlled the legendary armed color domineering. The elementalization that he was proud of was useless in front of him. Bai Qingshu looked bitter, and his chance of winning against Jiang Chen was almost zero. But I have tried my best, and I will have an explanation for the Hao family's accountability in the future. As the most recognized #1 prodigy in Qinglong, Bai Qingshu has her own pride at least before Jiang Chen's unknowable realm spreads all over the world. If I shrink back in front of the mountain of martial arts, how can I climb to the top of martial arts in the future? Jiang Chen, if you insist on doing this, I, Bai Qingshu, will have to ask you for advice. Chapter 26. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Your courage is commendable. But you have no chance of winning in the future, Jiang Chen shouted coldly. How do you know if you don't try? White mist lost area, Bai Qingshu slapped the ground with one hand, and a huge amount of white smoke filled the entire area. Interfering with the five senses, blocking the sight, the friction sound of the smoke flow hindered Jiang Chen's hearing. Jiang Chen stood there and was indifferent to the white smoke that filled his body. Bai Qingshu was able to use the smoke to change the environment that was beneficial to himself and weaken the opponent's perception at the same time. Bai Qingshu's use of his own smoke fruit was indeed unique. Unfortunately, Jiang Chen didn't buy it. He calmly operated the domineering of observation, and Bai Qingshu's actions in the smoke were completely exposed. Seeing Bai Qingshu moving quickly in the smoke and moving everyone in the hall to the outside, Jiang Chen did not stop him. Do you still care about the life and death of others in the battle? It's a pity that good people may not live long in such a world, Jiang Chen secretly complained. After Bai Qingshu transferred everyone, he was about to mention Hao Se and send him away. Jiang Chen moved. Hey. Letting the culprit go in front of me, I am so embarrassed. At the same time, the air sank into the dantian, and the burning hot breath gathered in the throat. Flame breath. Opening his mouth and spitting, the red fire column rushed straight to Hao Se and the two. The scorching high temperature burned everything, and everything turned into ashes wherever the flame breath passed. White vine impact. How could Jiang Chen discover his actions without time to react? In a hurry, he could only gather all his strength to compress the smoke and spray it out. The white smoke turned into a shock wave and collided fiercely with Jiang Chen's flame breath. A violent explosion sounded. In an instant, the flame splashed. The whole roof was blown up. The red flames and white smoke entangled and rushed straight into the sky. The entire combat power appraisal hall shook violently as if there was an earthquake. Outside the building, people who knew or didn't know were outside the green belt and watched the building covered by white fog make a loud noise, and then the red and white smoke rose up, and they were immediately panicked. The flames and smoke that shot up into the sky could be seen even by people several kilometers away. That seems to be the direction of the combat power appraisal center. What happened? Is there a fire? But the people present at this time were even more shocked. The strongest genius in Qingjing is fighting here. Qinglong Jiang Chen vs Wuyin Bai Qingshu. Who is the strongest genius in Qingjing? Maybe we can see the result today. The excited people took videos and posted them on their social media. This place is also attracting more and more attention. At this time, only 1 kilometer away, Hao Se's uncle Hao Nyobai was rushing towards the Combat Power Appraisal Center with a group of people from the Supervision Department. Hao Nyobai looked up and saw the huge red and white smoke rising from the direction of the appraisal center and felt something was wrong. More than 10 minutes ago, he received a distress message from his nephew Hao Se, saying that he was being beaten. He was almost in danger of death. Natural smoke fruit. Who is fighting the girl from the Bai family? It's so dangerous. Brothers, step on the accelerator. We're almost there. A few minutes later, the smoke gradually dispersed, and Bai Qingshu collapsed to the side, with blood flowing from the corner of his mouth. His hairpin fell off, his black hair was messy, and his slender white arms barely supported himself. A bitter smile at the corner of his mouth. It's not that I don't protect him, it's just that Jiang Chen is too strong. Hao Se was terrified. Bai Qingshu lost too quickly, and he couldn't buy himself too much time. He had already secretly contacted the person in charge of the supervision office in this area, his uncle Hao Nyobi. But man proposes, God disposes. Uncle, come quickly. Your nephew is really going to die now. Didn't you say I can't kill you? It seems no one can save you. Jiang Chen stared at Hao Se with a half-smile, exited the half-beast transformation and returned to human form. He slowly accumulated power with one finger, and shot out a finger gun to blow up Hao Se's head. Stop! How dare you! A embroidered spring knife collided with the finger gun as fast as a startled bird. There was a loud bang. The roar of metal clashing came, and the embroidered spring knife burst open. "Uncle, save me!" It turned out to be Hao Sei's reinforcement uncle, Hao Niu Bai, who arrived in time. One finger broke the knife. Seeing his beloved knife destroyed, Hao Niu Bai's eyes were solemn. "Good boy. You are so cruel," Hao Niu Bai helped Hao Sei up and carefully checked his injuries. Looking at Hao Sei, who was unrecognizable and swollen like a pig's head, if he hadn't heard his shout just now, Hao Niu Bai really couldn't connect him with his elegant nephew. "Uncle, he's the one who hurt me. You must avenge me." Hao Sei pointed at Jiang Chen with hatred in his eyes. "If you look at me like this, I don't mind digging out your eyes." Jiang Chen looked gloomy. "Looking at him in public, I can't kill him today, I was tricked." "How dare you? Who are you?" "I am the director of the supervision office in this area under the Qinglong supervision department. You spoke wildly and hurt people in front of me. I must question you." Hao Niu Bai looked stern, and his men surrounded Jiang Chen. "Haha, so what if you are the director of the supervision office? Can you confuse right and wrong? The surveillance cameras here are all on. Your nephew is looking for trouble and shooting and killing people first. According to the laws of the Han Alliance, I have unlimited right to self-defense and counterattack. Don't think that I dare not touch you because I am an official. You try first. Do you think I dare to kill you on the spot?" After the smoke cleared, seeing the people from the supervision department pouring into the combat power appraisal center, the people around also bravely entered it. After hearing Jiang Chen's words, they were filled with indignation. That's right. It was this Hao Sei who provoked Jiang Chen. It was obviously a personal grudge, but he shot and killed civilians indiscriminately. Why is your supervisory department the supervisory department of the Hao family or the supervisory department of the Han people? People whose relatives were seriously injured came forward and demanded severe punishment for Hao Sei. Listening to the words of Jiang Chen and the people around him, Hao Niu Bai was immediately in a dilemma. Hao Sei was furious and shouted, "You bunch of lowly people. If you die, you die. At most, you can pay some money. Is 10 million baileys enough for each person?" Hao Niu Bai hurriedly covered Hao Sei's mouth. "My little ancestor. How can such a thing be said in public? Isn't this going to arouse public anger? It would be a headache if the opponents of the Hao family used it." Hao Niu Bai was complaining at this time. "Wait. You are the new rising star of Qinglong, the most powerful animal-type devil fruit user, Qinglong Jiang Chen." Hao Niu Bai secretly said that he was in trouble and was not easy to mess with. "I can't say I am the strongest, but I can crush your head. Do you want to try?" Jiang Chen said lightly. Anyway, he probably couldn't fight, so he could just talk. If he really angered Hao Niu Bai and asked him to take the initiative, he might find a chance to crush the heads of the two Hao family members. Asshole. As a member of the Hao family, a big family in Qinglong, the director of the supervision office, and a famous bronze-level strongman in Qinglong, he usually responds to everyone's call. When has he ever suffered such humiliation? Just when he was about to take action, he was stopped by his men. He pointed at Bai Qingshu, who was bleeding from the corner of his mouth and injured beside him. Then he pointed to the news on the broken LED display above the appraisal hall that Wuyin Qinyan had reached the Black Iron Broken Army level and Kaido of the Beasts had reached the Black Iron Supreme Unknown Realm. The meaning is self-evident. Hao Niu Bai was immediately like being poured with a basin of cold water. It is obvious that Wuyin Qinyan is Bai Qingshu. Kaido of the Beasts is Jiang Chen. And the person who fought with Bai Qingshu before was undoubtedly Qinglong Jiang Chen. Looking at the blood flowing from the corner of Bai Qingshu's mouth, there is no doubt that Bai Qingshu was injured in the duel with Qinglong Jiang Chen. Jiang Chen was able to injure Bai Qingshu, who was almost invincible with elementalization. There is no doubt that Hao Niu Bai could not fight against him at all. He almost found the way of Jiang Chen, the thief. This subordinate can give him a promotion and salary increase in the future. The current plan must find a way to take Hao Sei away safely. Hao Nyobai pinched his throat and became righteous again. The supervisory department is handling the case, all the outsiders please go away. Regarding this violent incident, our company will enforce the law impartially and properly arrange the follow-up work. We will not protect anyone. The suspect Hao Sei injured people first, and our company will take him away for investigation. Qinglong Jiang Chen. Considering that you are fighting back in self-defense, you can go back first. That Hao Nyobai's serious and impartial attitude is no longer like the way he protected his child before. Although everyone is dissatisfied, they can't find fault. Seeing that the overall situation has been decided, Jiang Chen is too lazy to complain about it. There is plenty of time to take action secretly, so he can only let him leave calmly. Before leaving, Hao Sei's face, which was swollen like a pig's head with silver handcuffs, gave Jiang Chen a middle finger. His lips moved slightly as if to say, "See, I said you can't do anything to me, shameless." Jiang Chen, who wanted to let him go temporarily, saw Hao Sei's provocation. How could he bear it? His fingers clamped Hao Sei's arm with the middle finger raised as fast as lightning and twisted it hard. Blood and flesh flew everywhere, and Hao Sei's right arm was broken. Humph. I'll collect some interest first. Jiang Chen snorted coldly. He was extremely upset after being frustrated for the first time. Hao Sei, this bastard, really dared to act like that. Ah! Hao Sei's heart-wrenching scream suddenly broke out after a moment of dullness. Jiang Chen! How dare you! Do you really want to be an enemy of my Hao family? Hao Nyobai was also shocked, and suddenly became angry and annoyed. At the same time, he secretly hated Hao Sei for not knowing how to appreciate him. Why not? This guy mocked me for no reason and caused great trauma to my body and mind. It's not too much for me to fight back, right? No, everyone. That's right. He deserves it. This second-generation idiot takes advantage of his good father to do whatever he wants. He should have been taught a lesson long ago. Some people who are busy with things hid among the crowd and mocked him. How dare you? Who is gossiping? Stand up! Hao Nyobai glared at everyone, trying to find the person who made the noise, but as he yelled, everyone stopped. Lord Hao has great authority. What? Only the governor is allowed to set fires, but the people are not allowed to light lamps, right? Jiang Chen. Don't be so proud. Our Hao family will not let this go. It's just the Black Iron Realm. It's just the division of combat power in the same realm. If you don't know, you might think you are in the unknown realm of the Saint Realm. You are so arrogant. Hao Nyobi glared at Jiang Chen fiercely, picked up Hao Sei and rushed to the hospital, picking up the broken meat. I don't know if the doctors at Sacred Heart Hospital can reattach my nephew's arm. Looking at the piece of flesh and bone in his hand, it should be okay. Bai Qingshu also looked at Jiang Chen with complicated eyes. Don't worry, I will keep an eye on Hao Sei and won't let him mess around, especially with Lu Meng. Thank you very much. To be fair, Jiang Chen still admires Bai Qingshu, although she is a bit saintly. The difference between a saintly woman and a saintly bitch is that one demands on herself and the other demands on others. Although Jiang Chen does not think he is a good person, it does not affect his recognition of good people. Chapter 27. You are listening at novelfull.audio. As Jiang Chen, Bai Qingshu and other parties left, the situation gradually calmed down, but the conflict between the two sides spread throughout Qingheng at lightning speed. Qingheng was shocked to see a rare military-level warrior in decades. And a rare and unknowable realm in the world. Jiang Chen vs Bai Qingshu. Both parties are known as the strongest geniuses of the younger generation in Qingheng. Both have monster strength that must ignore age. Their confrontation set off a huge wave in Qingheng. The aftermath of this incident has just begun. And the conflict between Jiang Chen and Hao Sei, and even the people who died in the conflict, how many families were broken up. Wife and children were separated. In the huge network, it was just a tiny splash. Except for the relatives of the parties involved, no one paid attention. No one cared. This world is so cruel, death. It's just a common thing. All living beings live ordinary lives and die humbly, dividing line, in a high-rise building in the center of Qinglong City, in the huge transparent French window on the top floor, Hao Gang, director of the Qinglong Supervision Department, overlooked the entire city. Neon lights flickered in the distance, the tall buildings were brightly lit, and there was a bustling traffic under the tall buildings, a peaceful and tranquil scene. Only when you are in the center of this city can you truly feel the beauty of the world, a life that is completely opposite to the cruel reality on the edge of the city, a life that only the strong can control. Hao Gang shook his empty wine glass and looked down at the city below with an intoxicated look. Secretary Song. I heard that my disappointing son went shopping with the girl from the Bai family today. Yes, I heard that the young master accompanied Miss Bai to the Combat Power Appraisal Center to appraise the combat power. Behind Hao Gang, a middle-aged man dressed as a secretary and wearing gold-rimmed glasses whispered softly without being humble or arrogant. Okay, go out more often. If my son can marry Bai Qingshu, it will be a great honor for me as a father. The Bai family has really given birth to a good daughter. I believe that in this appraisal, the girl of the Bai family may become the first genius in Qinglong with the combat power of the broken army level. When Bai Qingshu's name was mentioned, Hao Gang couldn't help but be stunned. As a well-known silver-level strongman in Qinglong, he had to feel ashamed when facing Bai Qingshu, who was only black iron, a girl who was only 18 years old, sitting on the natural devil fruit that made countless people envy and hate. It was obviously only black iron, but even Hao Gang didn't dare to say that he could definitely beat her. The young are really formidable. If we can marry the Bai family, and the Hao and Bai families join forces, who in Qinglong dares to be the enemy of my Hao family? Hao Gang, who was nearly half a century old, couldn't help but imagine. Secretary Song next to him looked calm, but secretly complained in his heart. Marriage? No, sir, you really don't see what kind of character your son is. He is such a proud daughter of heaven. He has strength, beauty, and background. You must be crazy to like our young master. In the quiet floor, both sides were lost in thought. No, it's bad, sir. One of Hao Gang's men rushed to open the door of the office. It's so noisy, how can it be disgraceful? Hao Gang looked unhappy, and Secretary Song immediately scolded the man. I'm sorry, sir, Secretary Song. Young Master Hao was beaten. His face is almost disfigured. His arm. His arm is also broken. What? The wine glass broke with a snap. Hao Gang immediately asked his men about the whole story. When he heard that Jiang Chen had injured his son, he was furious. Jiang Chen. Is he the guy who got the strongest devil fruit of the new generation of animal system? A guy who got lucky dared to bully my son. He is looking for death. Hao Gang immediately ordered people to arrest him. The subordinate trembled and said again. Master, your news is outdated. Jiang Chen passed the Illusion God Tower Black Iron Unknown Combat Strength Appraisal today. What? 2 consecutive exclamations came from Hao Gang and Secretary Song at the same time. Hao Gang's feet almost trembled. How is it possible? Someone bring me Jiang Chen's online video. Soon, with the help of Secretary Song, Jiang Chen's video was projected on the wall of the office. Hao Gang carefully observed the battle between Jiang Chen and Wang Jia of the Blood Wolf group, without skipping a frame. Impossible. Jiang Chen in the video is indeed very powerful. With advanced physical skills, he developed the Azure Dragon Fruit to a considerable degree in a short period of time. Just based on the combat power shown in the video, at most he is at the level of breaking the army or close to the level of destroying the city. Unless... Hao Gang and Secretary Song looked at each other as if they had thought of something, their eyes full of shock. It's domineering. The subordinate heard the domineering second the word immediately came to mind. Yes, yes, yes. I heard that Bai Qingshu of the Bai family did say the word domineering when he fought with Jiang Chen. No wonder Bai Qingshu, who was known as the invincible natural system, lost to Jiang Chen. What? It's really domineering. No, what? Jiang Chen and Bai Qingshu fought. Ha! What? Bai Qingshu lost. That Hao Gang and Secretary Song were shocked and asked 3 questions in a row. The 3 messages were like a bolt from the blue. Fuck you, you're going to die if you say half of your words. I've been watching the video for a long time and you're telling me this now. That Hao Gang, who was very well-mannered, couldn't help but curse the subordinate at this time. The subordinate looked aggrieved, and you 2 big guys didn't ask. Secretary Song waved his hand implicitly to signal him to get out, and the man immediately felt as if he had been pardoned. Hurry up and leave the room. Hao Gang's old face was red with anger at this time, and he was no longer as calm as before. Old Song, my son has been bullied and nearly disfigured. For the sake of our reputation and for my son, our Hao family cannot remain indifferent. Let's quickly think of a solution. Secretary Song looked solemn, and after thinking for a moment, he asked tentatively. Master, why not use your power to suppress others? You are the head of the supervisory department, and you are born to stand at the commanding heights of order. Just send people to arrest Jiang Chen on trumped-up charges. If he doesn't resist, he will fall into our hands. Resist? That's even better. There will be no place for him in Qinglong. That this move is so cruel that even Hao Gang is tempted. After thinking for a moment, Hao Gang sat down dejectedly. It's useless. Do you know what the unknown means? It means that he will be the peerless genius of the entire human race. We may be considered as a big shot in Qinglong, but we are nothing in front of the entire Han Alliance. Perhaps at the moment when he passed the unknown realm detection of the Phantom God Tower, I am afraid that all his information has already appeared on the desk of some big shots. Secretary Song was speechless. Since you know that he is not easy to mess with, you still want to mess with him. Isn't this pure sick? As if seeing Secretary Song's concerns, Hao Gang explained that Qinglong is far away from the emperor. Even if a big shot takes a fancy to Jiang Chen, his tentacles cannot extend to Qinglong in a short time. If you want to deal with Jiang Chen, you must openly clear your mind of opposing him. Secretary Song understood that the current Han Alliance, the cities are like chess pieces scattered across the vast land. The cities are like isolated islands in the deep sea. Outside the city are endless monsters and terrifying fog. The only way to travel between cities is to take an airship embedded with sea stone. It is said that sea stone only exists in places with sufficient spiritual energy. It has mysterious power, can avoid the invasion of fog, disgust monsters and sea kings, and can even restrain and weaken people with abilities. It is very rare. Master, if that's the case, I have another plan. It can solve the dilemma of the Hao family. Oh, Lao Song, please speak quickly. Chapter 28. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Hao Gang sat upright and waited for Secretary Song's next words. My lord, haven't you noticed yet? Jiang Chen is ruthless and has no taboos. Compared with the hatred between him and the young master, Jiang Chen and the Blood Wolf Hunter group really have a life-and-death feud. When Jiang Chen's information spreads further, the people of the Blood Wolf will be more anxious than us. You mean, drive the tiger to eat the wolf, and kill someone with a borrowed knife? That the 2 old foxes smiled at each other and understood each other's intentions in an instant. As long as they find an opportunity and add another weight to the scales in the hearts of the Blood Wolf people, it will be enough to induce them to take action against Jiang Chen. In an unknown space, 3 majestic figures like gods and demons sat quietly on both sides of the long table, and the thrones behind them exuded a supreme and holy brilliance. The aura lingering around the figures distorted the space and blurred the figures. I am afraid that if someone were to see them in person, they would not be able to see their faces clearly. At this time, the 3 existences that could not be looked at directly were watching the 3 videos on the table carefully. One of them was a blue dragon hidden above the clouds, with thunder and lightning storms raging around it. Thousands of monsters were wiped out in a natural disaster-like scene. In the second part, a figure walked under the mountains and rivers, and the atmosphere was cracked when he raised his hand. The terrifying shock wave ran across the four directions, and the earth was instantly shattered. Countless monsters wailed in pain in the doomsday environment. In the third video, a young man strolled among the monsters, and the sky became darker with every step he took. Behind the boy was already boundless darkness. It was incompatible with the clear sky in front of him, and it was clearly divided. In the strange phenomenon, endless monsters rushed towards the boy and were swallowed up by the darkness silently, and died silently. After a long time, the sound began to sound in the unknown space. A king will rise in 500 years. Its rise is sudden, and its fall is also sudden. Is the brilliant era finally coming? Will they be the people of destiny predicted by the left prime minister? Not necessarily. In the era of great contention, they may just be the vanguard of the times. The real protagonist of the era may still be hidden in the market. A dragon trapped in a shallow shoal must know that a golden scale cannot be kept in a pond. Once it encounters wind and clouds, it will turn into a dragon. After so many years, this level of genius has finally appeared again among the new generation of young people. No need to belittle yourself. Everyone here has reached the unknowable realm when they were young. It's just that as the realm becomes deeper and deeper, it becomes more and more difficult to replicate the invincible power of the same realm. 18 years old, the unknowable realm of the Black Iron Realm, have you seen it? Even if you are 18 years old, I'm afraid you don't even know what domineering is when you are here. You, a man from the left of Gaozu's family, holding a 3-foot sword to conquer the world, the strength and weakness of the moment is nothing. People can lose 100 times, but they must win the last time. Okay, stop arguing, whether they are or not, they are destined to be the unrivaled geniuses of our human race, and once they grow up, they will also be the peak combat power of our human race. In the future, whether they are stepped on by the real protagonist to achieve their fame or not, it has nothing to do with us. The key is now, do we need to provide them with special protection? No need, the geniuses have their own way, there is no need to interfere with their growth trajectory, the ruler of the next 1,000 years, whether it is true or false. There is no way before the king. Only open up the road for yourself, that the king's road can only be opened up by the king himself. Second the motion. Then let's move on to the second topic, about the mystery of Zhuoxiang's death. You and I both know that the so-called murderer is just a scapegoat. The imperial capital is still hiding a terrifying force that we don't know about. As long as the river map and Luo Shu are still in the hands of Zhuoxiang's beloved disciple, find him, monitor him, and protect him, the murderer will always reveal his tracks. It's just hard for us. I'm afraid we will be very busy during this period without the river map and Luo Shu. Don't always think about slacking off. The world is not peaceful anymore. Qinglong, the back mountain of the He family, welcomed an uninvited guest at this time, looking at the man in black clothes in front of him, with a cold expression and a sharp aura all over his body, like a sword out of a sheath. He Wei on the opposite side took off his sweaty training robe to reveal his body full of training scars, and changed into a clean and comfortable robe with the help of the servants. What's the matter? You came here specially. From the standpoint, our families are rivals, because you and I specifically turned down the afternoon training plan. I know, thank you very much. But business competition is insignificant, strength is everything, isn't it? He Wei snorted coldly and waved his hand to signal the servants to go out. Tell me, what can I do for you? It's about a monster. That internet-wide uproar, you have seen Yang video, right? And his recent battle with another monster, by Qinglong Jiang Chen. As the black-clothed man slowly narrated, He Wei gradually widened his eyes. You are crazy. You actually want to challenge Jiang Chen and Bai Qingshu at the same time in the school trial. Excuse me, you have never faced Jiang Chen, and you don't understand the horror of that man at all, even if you are known as the strongest swordsman in Qinglong for decades. You will not be his opponent. The black-clothed man smiled slightly, looked up and looked directly at He Wei, and his eyes seemed to flash with dazzling light. that is a young hero, with a passionate and lofty ambition. The ambition to change the sun and the moon. Of course I know they are monsters. Are you willing to live in the same era as monsters without competing with them? That He Wei's face was complicated and his heart seemed to be touched. You must know that people like us who practice cultivation can behead. Blood can be shed, but the will to be strong must not be weakened. The man in black spoke again with a firm voice. Besides, in the school trial, because of the special nature of the competition, the strongest does not necessarily mean the first. As long as you can win, no matter what the method is, now defeating Jiang Chen and by Qingshu has long become the goal of all aspiring young people in Qingcheng. Just to make them lose once. Whether it is in terms of combat power or in other forms. They have already formed an alliance with each other. He Wei, let's form an alliance. It has to be said that the man in black has a talent for public speaking. As for defeating Jiang Chen, in a now-rumored appraisal center incident, the dandy young master Hao Sei is the real winner in life. He started the incident, and the two monsters fought for him. In the end, he patted his butt and retreated in front of Jiang Chen. What a style! Perfectly demonstrated how to crush monsters in terms of IQ. Thinking of this, He Wei couldn't help but sigh that life is impermanent. The big intestines are wrapped in the small intestines. How many goals that aspiring Tianjiao dreamed of were easily achieved in the hands of the unlearned dandy. Just like how many big guys in the game spent crazy Krypton gold just to draw SSR, but in the end a newbie drew a miracle. This world is so absurd. He Wei looked up at the sky and sighed. You are right, if we don't fight now, when will we fight? Let's form an alliance. Chapter 29. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After sending the black-clothed man away, He Wei glanced at the sky in the distance, slightly absent-minded, and after a long time, he suddenly exuded strong confidence. The courage to fight 1 against 100 is better than the strength to fight 1 against 100. Jiang Chen, if it were a few days ago, I would probably still regard you as a mountain that I could never cross in my life. He Wei clenched his fist, rubbed the ring on his finger that shone with a simple light, and smiled. Times have changed, Jiang Chen. Looking at the ring in his hand, He Wei spoke respectfully. Ancestor, what do you think? Suddenly, the ring shone brightly, and an illusory figure emerged. Time went back to 2 days ago. After being defeated by Jiang Chen, He Wei got the 7-injury fist manual handed over by his grandfather, and immediately began to practice without sleep and food. In front of a hard boulder in the back mountain, regardless of the blood oozing from his arm, he punched on the boulder one punch after another. Boxing techniques can be fierce, feminine, or both hard and soft, or both hard and soft. The 5 elements regulate yin and yang, hurt the heart and lungs, and destroy the liver and intestines. The essence of the hidden is lost in trance, the 3 burners are reversed and the soul flies. Accompanied by a series of formulas, He Wei endured the discomfort and punched the boulder with all his strength, and was immediately hit by a series of pits. The blood on the fist was stained in the ring on He Wei's hand. He, you young boy. Do you want to die young with such a desperate training method like you? Just when He Wei was concentrating on boxing, an old and strange laugh came into He Wei's ears. Who? He Wei's face changed, and he quickly turned around and scanned the surroundings. His eyes were full of doubts, but he didn't find any figure. Don't look for me, I'm on your finger. Just when He Wei was secretly on guard, someone could silently pass through the family's defense and come to his side. Just as he was being cautious, the voice sounded again. He Wei's pupils suddenly shrank, and he raised his hand to look at his left hand. There was only an ancestral ring on his hand that was emitting a dim light. The ring can talk. Resisting the thought of chopping off his hand and throwing it away with the ring, He Wei spoke tentatively. What are you talking about? I'm just hiding in the ring. An exasperated voice came from the ring. Immediately, an illusory figure appeared on the ring. Who are you? Where are you from? What are you going to do? Resisting the discomfort, He Wei asked 3 soul questions. Interesting junior boy. who am I? To be precise, I am your ancestor. I have been in this ring all the time. Thanks to your blood, I was able to revive. Ancestor. Blood, Dutty Wei was a little confused and suspected that he was cursing. It's a long story. The ring on your hand is made of a very rare mineral soul crystal stone. It is a treasure that can store memory and even consciousness. Dutty Wei's eyes were thoughtful. He had heard that soul crystal stones were used by many major forces, colleges and even officials to store knowledge. Many advanced martial arts techniques are obscure and complex. They can only be understood but not expressed in words. It is difficult to keep them on paper. Some senior masters transfer their martial arts insights to soul crystal stones to record martial arts secrets. Even the secrets that are not passed on will use soul crystal stones. But this is the first time I heard that soul crystal stones can store the consciousness of living people. Dutty Wei's heart suddenly jumped. The weirdness of this matter exceeded his imagination. Humph, kid, what do you know? The world is so big that nothing is impossible. When your ancestor was dying, he was helped by a peerless strongman who possessed the soul fruit. By chance, his soul was attached to the ring made of soul crystal stone. The power of that strongman's fruit has reached the state of awakening. Even after so many years, my consciousness has been preserved forever in the soul crystal. I didn't wake up until recently. Although I can't speak, I know everything about your experience. It was not until your blood dripped on the ring just now that my direct bloodline completely revived me. Remember the younger generation of the He family. My name is He Chen. He Chen. Grandpa. My great-grandfather of the He family, that my He family's ancestor from 100 years ago. He Wei was shocked. Grandfather, please accept my respects. He Wei, who knew the whole story, couldn't help but change his attitude in front of his own ancestor. He respectfully placed the ring on the stone and kowtowed. The old man admired his polite young man very much and stroked his beard. No need to do that. Now I am just lingering on, with only a consciousness left in the ring. Okay, let's get back to the point. I like you very much, kid. Do you want to become stronger? Dutty Wei's heart skipped a beat when he heard this and he took a deep breath. It's up to the ancestor to decide. I dare not ask for anything. Okay, after my observation for some time, you have blood. He has the courage to fight against the monster named Jiang Chen. He is more unfathomable than you think. I have never seen such a monstrous genius in my life. His talent is probably only comparable to those legends in history. It is not an exaggeration to say that he is a living legend in terms of talent. With your hard work now, even if you learn the 7-injury fist, you may not even be qualified to exchange your life with him. He Wei's face turned pale when he heard this. Being denied by the ancestor, even the strongest boy couldn't help but feel sad at this moment. He. Don't be discouraged, young man. Are you scared? Who said that the weak can't defeat the strong? A grain of sand can fill the river and the sea, and a blade of grass can cut the stars. He Wei smiled bitterly, then looked at the old man with a firm face. I'm not afraid, but I also know my own weight. The road of martial arts is like climbing a mountain, one step at a time. I don't care how strong Jiang Chen or other monsters are. I just want to walk my own way, and every step counts. Looking at the oath from the young man's heart, He Chen couldn't help but lose his mind slightly. He was impressed by his momentum and couldn't help but be convinced. The old man was shocked. Is it Overlord color? He restrained his mind and felt that the future of this young man would sooner or later embark on a supreme road. The intention of giving a few profound secret books to take care of the younger generation also faded. It is said that the real peerless genius must have a firm heart and unparalleled luck. Today, I have seen it, young man. Maybe my awakening is also your destined opportunity. He Chen looked at the young man in front of him and decided to take a gamble. If he won, he would be the hero of the dragon. Young man, have you ever heard of the 9-yang magic skill? The 9-yang magic skill? The legendary martial arts that has long been lost. that He Wei was shocked. It is said that after practicing the 9-yang magic skill, the speed of internal force is extremely fast, and ordinary punches and kicks can also exert great power. Defense and rebound external force attacks, the defense is almost unmatched. The speed of the practitioner will be greatly increased, and it is also a healing scripture, free from all diseases and poisons. Yes, young man, compared to its own ability, what is more amazing is that learning it will allow you to comprehend the armed color domineering earlier and faster. That He Chen looked at He Wei with satisfaction. He Wei looked like he had never seen the world. Only if you master the domineering power, you are worthy of competing with the real genius. That He Wei could not hide his excitement, and bowed to He Chen. Thank you for the merit. Boy, don't get excited. The 9-yang divine art only qualifies you to face a genius like Jiang Chen. Chapter 30. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Why, are you satisfied with just one 9-yang magic skill? That He Chen blew his beard and stared at He Wei jokingly. Grandmaster, I am already grateful for giving me such a magic skill. Besides, I know that I can't chew too much. The name of 9-yang is famous all over the world, which is absolutely beyond the reach of ordinary martial arts. It is as famous as 9-yin in the world. How dare I have any extravagant demands? That He Wei said solemnly. That's right. After practicing 9-yang magic skill, the internal force will be self-generated. When practicing boxing, you will be a master of external force. When using sword, you will directly enter the realm of swordsmen. The internal force is self-generated very quickly, and you are not afraid of group attacks. Practice to a high level, the internal force of the whole body will form a circle, and the automatic body protection function will rebound external force attacks. The defense is almost invincible, which can be called the indestructible body of Vajra. In a sense, it is no less than the armed color domineering. It is also a healing scripture, which stimulates the body's recovery ability, the inner force of extreme yang, immune to all poisons. Even if you are seriously injured, you can still keep your life safe. This healing scripture is no less than another magical skill, the Shenzheijing. Boy, don't practice the 7-injury fist, learn the 9-yang magic skill first. By the way, don't call me ancestor in the future, dust to dust, earth to earth, just call me Chen Lao in the future. After saying that, the old man pointed his finger at He Wei's brow and passed on all the insights of the 9-yang magic skill to him. The scene returned to the present moment. After hearing He Wei's voice, the old man emerged from the ring. Incredible, incredible, the little monster named Jiang Chen in the unknowable realm has actually achieved the invincible combat power in the same realm in a true sense. Looking at the confident He Wei, the old man shook his head. Boy, I have to say that if you really want to set him as a goal, your road will be very difficult. The top fruit, from the performance point of view, the development level in just a few days is almost shocking. The same boy who obtained the animal fruit is still turning into a beast and howling, and the one who obtained the superhuman fruit is still slowly familiarizing himself with the skills. Even the natural fruit dare not squander his ability so much, and is saving energy by eating frugally, and Jiang Chen has already begun to control natural disasters and transformed into a dragon to fly in the sky. The well-known acrobatic master Doflamingo once said that there is no difference between strong and weak fruits, and the key factors that determine victory or defeat depend on the operation and development of the ability user himself, but this sentence cannot be fully believed. Just like the sky-high bride price of millions, the woman only wants an attitude, although he does not mention money in every sentence. But he is always talking about money. The same is true for the grades of devil fruits. There is no difference between strong and weak, only applicable compared with most. There are still a small number of devil fruits that are more special and are several levels higher than other fruits since their birth. Obviously, the fish fruit fantasy beast species Qinglong form is one of them. Strong physique, crushing the physical fitness of the same level. Advanced physical skills, all 6 army styles. Even has domineering. How many people can't get the power in their lifetime? It was easily obtained in the hands of the young Jiang Chen. Fruits, physique, physical skills and even domineering are the top of the same level. There is almost no weakness. how can you beat such an opponent? Under the setting sun, the mottled sunlight shines on the lush ancient trees, and the light and shadow pass through the gaps and spread on He Wei's face, but it blooms with charming brilliance. That's great, the strong dare to challenge the stronger, and then they are strong. Isn't it, Chen Lao? He, you have courage. In this case, I will accompany you to gamble. I still have a magical skill in my hand. It can be said that it is for this magical skill that I died and was hunted down to this end. And the murderer is still at large. After saying this, He Chen sighed, as if he was reminiscing about the past. He Wei was shocked that the murderer who killed Chen Lao was still alive. Then he bowed, but please tell me the name of your enemy. When I learn something in the future, I will definitely do justice for you. Kid, you have a good intention, but that enemy is too far away and too powerful for you. He also snatched some fragments of the magic skill I mentioned. If you learn it, you will inevitably be noticed by him when you travel around the world in the future, and there may be a disaster of killing. Do you dare to learn it? Even if he doesn't notice it, this skill is extremely evil. Although the martial arts theory is authentic, it may be regarded as evil by the world. Are you willing to learn it? He Chen looked directly into the eyes of the young man with a strong scrutiny. It was the first time that He Wei saw Chen Lao looking at him so seriously. His heart skipped a beat and he seemed to feel something in his heart. It was as if he was standing at a crossroads that determined his fate. Chen Lao, there is no right or wrong in power. The holder is righteous if his heart is righteous, and evil if his heart is evil. I am willing to learn and dare to learn. He Wei leaned over and bowed to the old man, holding the disciples' etiquette. He Chen laughed and nodded with satisfaction. Although we have a blood relationship, it has long been very thin, so it is not wrong to call each other master and disciple. Zhuangzi Zaiyayu says, there is a dark sea in the north of the end of the world, which is the Tianji. There are fish there, and it is thousands of miles wide, and no one knows how long it is. Moreover, if the water is not deep, it will not be able to carry a large boat. If you pour a cup of water on a depression, the mustard will become a boat. If you put a cup there, it will become sticky. The water is shallow and the boat is large. The magic skill I have obtained is called biming. This skill is dedicated to absorbing the internal strength, qi, and blood of people and monsters, and transforming the power of all things for its own use, just like hundreds of rivers converging into the sea, and the water of the sea is obtained by accommodating hundreds of rivers, and the ocean is vast and huge, taking people's internal strength, then taking apart, storing apart, without leaking endlessly. The more it accumulates, the thicker it becomes, just like the huge pool of biming. Tianqi, which can float a kuan thousands of miles away. He Wei was dumbfounded. There is such a skill in the world that absorbs people's qi, blood and internal energy. This is too evil. The way of heaven is to reduce the surplus and make up for the deficiency. The way of man is to reduce the deficiency and increase the surplus. Although the biming divine art is evil, it is the authentic Taoism. Absorb the power of all things and use it for yourself to strengthen your own physical strength. During the battle, absorb the scattered energy to restore your own physical strength, cooperate with the 9 yang divine art, and when facing the enemy will be weaker and you will be stronger. Not afraid of group attacks at all. It can almost be said to be invincible in close combat by consuming people's internal energy without any damage. The only weakness can't be called a weakness, it can only be said to be a shortcoming. Although the biming divine art is invincible in close combat, if the enemy's internal energy is super strong, or if he uses a split palm or a sword energy slash. Air attack martial arts such as finger in the air, break through your own defense, then it is estimated that you may die of wounds all over your body without the need for biming magic to dissolve and absorb it. In any case, once these two magics are mastered, the achievement of the unknowable realm that Jiang Chen can achieve may not be impossible for you to achieve. 9 yang magic art and biming magic art are the ultimate principles of martial arts in the world. If you master one of the two, all martial arts in the world can be used. In the future, you will definitely make rapid progress in physical training. I am afraid that few people in the world can match you in physical training. And binding magic art, which absorbs blood and strengthens the body, can help you break through the realm barrier and break the shackles of human potential. The same realm of physical body will go one step further. In the future, if you concentrate on practicing, you may be able to get a glimpse of the sainthood.